He was tied up with his own backpack straps, held at gunpoint, deep in a dark, silent Australian forest. The man who'd picked him up, who called himself Bill, was about to kill him. But Paul Onions didn't die that day. He ran, he fought, he survived. And 4 years later, his story would crack open the hunt for Australia's most infamous serial killer. This is the chilling true story of Ivan Milat. To understand the monster, you have to go back to the beginning. Ivan Milat was born into chaos, the fifth of 14 children in a struggling Croatian-Australian family in Bosley Park, Sydney. The Milat home was crowded, money was tight, and discipline was reportedly harsh yet inconsistent. Young Ivan was a poor student, frequently in trouble, but the signs pointed to something darker than mere rebellion. By his teens, neighbors and family members would later report acts of extreme animal cruelty, theft, and a simmering, unpredictable temper. At 17, he was sent to a detention center for car theft and resisting arrest. It was a graduate program for his future. As a young adult, his crimes escalated: break-ins, armed robbery, assault. But in 1971, we see the first terrifying glimpse of his future pattern. 2 young female hitchhikers were abducted at knife point near Newcastle. They were assaulted, tied up, and threatened with death. Miraculously, they escaped. The police had a prime suspect, Ivan Milat, but the charges didn't stick. He walked free. That failure of justice was catastrophic. For the next 2 decades, Milat worked as a road worker and truck driver. He traveled thousands of miles across New South Wales, learning the intricate web of logging trails and fire roads. He was learning the geography of disappearance. The stage was set. The hunter was ready. Between 1989 and 1992, 7 bright young lives were violently extinguished. They were backpackers, travelers, students, full of adventure. They made the simple, tragic mistake of trusting the wrong ride near a place called Belanglo State Forest, south of Sydney. This is their story. We say their names. December 30th, 1989. Deborah Everest and James Gibson, both 19, Australian, were last seen hitchhiking to a music festival. They were beaten and stabbed. January 20th, 1991. Simone Schmiedel, a 21-year-old German, was cycling around Australia. She vanished. She was found with multiple stab wounds. December 26th, 1991. Gabor Neugebauer, 21, and Anja Habschied, 20, a German couple. Gabor was shot 6 times. Anja was decapitated. April 18, 1992, Caroline Clark, 21, from Britain, and Joanne Walters, 22, from Wales, were traveling together. Caroline was shot 10 times. Joanne was stabbed 15 times. The pattern was horrifyingly clear. All were restrained. Many showed signs of torture and assault before death. All were meticulously hidden under piles of branches and leaves, as if the killer was concealing a game trophy. And every shooting? Ballistics confirmed it, the same .222 caliber rifle. Belanglo was no longer just a forest, it was Australia's killing ground, a place of pure, calculated evil. And the killer was still out there, his silence more terrifying than the screams he left behind. In 1993, the pressure was overwhelming. Police formed Task Force Air. Over 230 suspects were investigated. Tips flooded in, cars were tracked. It was a mammoth, frustrating operation. But the breakthrough wouldn't come from a piece of forensics. It would come from a memory, the memory of the one who got away. January 25th, 1990, British backpacker Paul Onions is hitchhiking. A friendly man in a white Nissan Patrol picks him up. He introduces himself as Bill. As they drive towards Belanglo, Bill's mood shifts. He pulls over on a remote track. He produces a gun. He pulls out rope. He tells Paul he's being robbed. Paul sees the intent in the man's eyes. This isn't just a robbery. In a split second, he makes a choice and runs, Bill firing shots after him. He flags down hysterical and escapes. 4 years later in the UK, Paul Onions is watching an Australian news report about the backpacker murders, and he freezes. The face on the screen is Bill. He contacts Task Force Hare. His statement is the key. With a positive ID, police raid the Milat family homes. What they find is a museum of death. Backpacks, clothing, and personal belongings, a camping stove, a sleeping bag, all positively identified belonging to the victims. And the weapon, a .222 Ruger rifle, matched conclusively to the bullets in the forest. The hunter had kept trophies, and now he was caught. He was arrested without incident, his reign of terror over. His trial began in March 1996. It was one of Australia's most publicized. 145 witnesses. The evidence was overwhelming. The ballistics, the possessions, Paul Onion's unwavering testimony. Milat's defense? A shocking claim. He blamed his own family, suggesting his brother Richard was the killer. It was a desperate, divisive tactic that tore the family apart, but convinced no one. On July 27, 1996, the jury returned, guilty on 7 counts of murder and the attempted murder of Paul Onions. Justice David Hunt sentenced him to 7 life sentences plus 18 years with no possibility of parole. His final words to Milat? "You are a pathetic, miserable, and profoundly evil serial killer." And through it all, Ivan Milat never confessed. He never showed remorse, only a smug, defiant silence. Milat was sent to Goulburn Supermax, Australia's most secure prison. But even in a concrete box, he craved control and attention. He went on hunger strikes, he plotted escape attempts, and in a grotesque act of manipulation in 2009, he severed his little finger with a plastic knife, demanding to be moved. In 2019, the end came from within, diagnosed with terminal esophageal and stomach cancer. In his final months, police made one last attempt. They visited his bedside, hoping for a deathbed confession, for answers that could bring closure to other families. He refused. He took his full secrets to the grave. Ivan Milat died on October 27, 2019. He was 74. But his story may not be over. Many investigators and journalists believe 7 victims were just the ones he was convicted for. His known movements, his methods, and a string of unsolved disappearances from the 1970s to the early 90s suggest the true toll could be 20 or more. His crimes left a permanent scar on the Australian psyche, inspiring the horror film Wolf Creek. If you want to explore more chilling true crime stories like this, stories that delve into the darkest corners of history and human nature, then make sure you subscribe and hit the like button. It really helps this channel grow. Let me know in the comments below which other infamous cases or unsolved mysteries should we cover next. Thanks for watching, stay curious, and stay safe.